everything paranormal. Para-X. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para-X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Merry meet and merry part, bright the cheeks and warm the heart. For tread the circle thrice about, to keep unwelcome spirits out. Abide within the law you must, in perfect love and perfect trust. Mind the threefold laws you should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. These 8 words the read fulfill, and ye harm none, do what ye will.
Welcome to Stirring the Cauldron. Now, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
Hey, merry meet everybody, and welcome to the show. It's that time of year when my guest, Ron Kolek, is back to talk about his yearly, very unique paranormal retreat, Spirit Quest. Now, most people know who Ron is, but in case, you didn't, let me give him some stuff here. He's the founder and lead investigator of the New England Ghost Project, and he was once his ultimate skeptic, but a near-death experience changed all that, and now he uses his scientific background to seek the truth about the paranormal. He's the host of the popular Ghost Chronicle Radio Series, which is like Ghost Chronicles Next Generation, Ghost Chronicles International, and maybe I'm missing one or two. And he's also a well-known lecturer and taught paranormal CSI at Northern Essex Community College. And he's also co-authored 3 books on the paranormal with Maureen Wood, and he contributed to lots of others. So anyone in the Para chat room listening to the live show, you can ask questions and comments for Ron. And if you're not here and you want to be with us, come over to paraxradionetwork.com and join us. And so Van Helsing is in the house. And Ron, forgive me if I've asked you this before, but if I did, I don't remember. But where did you pick up the Van Helsing moniker?
Oh, my God. I know you know that.
I knew it, but, gray matter as we get older, maybe I lost that part of it or something.
First of all, let me say it's always good to be with the sexiest witch on the West Coast. So, that's how else to spend the night, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. It's
So
long distance, but what are you going to do? All right.
There you go. Anyways, Van Helsing, for those who don't know, do know, he was the guy in Bram Stoker's Dracula. He was a scientist, basically, but he was versed in the arts and the crafts, so that's kind of what fits me. I have my degree in environmental science. I worked in the space program, but I've also studied, just about anything and everything, because I always believe if you're going to criticize something, at least you get to know about it. So, a lot of things I didn't believe it, witches, I know witches exist. They always did. It's just what the people call them. It's not even but anyway, thousands, mediums, all that stuff, Reiki and everything. And so I studied it all. And so that's the character. Plus, get this. My last name, Kolek, means wooden peg or wooden stick.
Oh, that should go right through the Dracula's heart, the vampire's heart.
And Bram Stoker came from the same region that my roots come from.
Wow. If you go way, way back in your ancestry.
I could be reincarnated. I'm not sure, but it's possible.
Oh, yeah. Well, everything's possible, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe it. Yeah, everything is totally possible. And what is possible every year that people look forward to is Spirit Quest. And, I know the answer to this, but what makes it unique from some of the other events that go on during the year?
So you just want to jump into Spirit Quest, huh?
Well, we're going to go back and forth.
All right, fine, whatever. Anyway, Spirit Quest, we've done it for 11 years now. It's not a Paracon. It's, I always had a hard time kind of describe it, but I finally come up with a paranormal retreat, and that's kind of what it is. It's where like-minded people get together to take part in different activities. It includes lectures, includes workshops, includes experiences, and so forth. It's a weekend event, but you can come for the day, you can come for the night, you can come for the whole weekend.
Yeah, see, that's the beauty of it, because sometimes, for other things, you just have to go 3 days or whatever. You can't pick and choose. And, there's options, and that's not always the case with other events. So, 3 days, and might as well say when it is, because it's coming up.
Yep, September 29th, 29th, 30th, and October 1st. So and the last weekend in September.
And every year it has a different theme. And this year is
Beyond the Veil.
I'm surprised you haven't done that one yet, but you get very clever with your topics. So what?
Yeah, we've had angels and demons. There was one we did on I think the Blair Witch Ghost Hunt. We did was part of one. It was on witchcraft and witchery and. We've done, a lot of different ones, but it's got a little formula. Friday night is always our kickoff, so that's a costume event if you want. People dress up, and we always have Chinese food, and it's some type of event that the interest is more entertaining, and it's just the welcome, and we get together and. We have the same people come back every year. It's like a paranormal family almost.
It's a reunion, yeah.
Yeah, a reunion. That's more than like it. Yeah, a reunion. So that it is interesting. We have people come from all different states and everything. So it's fun, and it's good.
I talked about a couple of minutes ago, about your near-death experience. Did you cross the veil? Did you see a veil?
Cross the veil? I don't know.
Well, some people...
it's so easy to say, okay, I crossed the veil, I did this, I mean, I had an experience, which is why I got involved in this in the first place, because I wanted to find out what it was about. I mean, but, I've injured my back for a year now, and it's been pretty serious, but I just want to kind of relate to this. And I had surgery for spinal compression. And anyways, they ended up giving me this horse collar, as I call it. And it's a electronic EMF generating thing that you put around your neck. It has a little digital thing, and I have to wear it 4 hours a day. And what it does is generates bone growth. And the theories about it has been around since the 1800s. People have used magnets or EMF electrical motors to generate, different things, and they were called quacks back then. But this $3,000 unit is now paid for by the insurance company. So it shows you that some of this early quackery wasn't so quackery. But anyway, somebody asked me about, well, does it work? Because that's what they say. Well, does it work? And and I have to say, I don't know. I have nothing to compare it with. Never had would my bones heal. It is healing. I mean, I can see the X-rays with the density of the bones growing and so forth. But I have nothing to compare it. Well, would I have just grown that quickly without it? I don't know. I have nothing to compare it. So. That's what kind of the beyond the veil is in my near-death experience. Did I go beyond the veil? I don't know first of all, I don't know what the hell a veil is, but it's, could have been the drugs they gave me. I don't know.
Yeah, well, some people say when they've had NDEs that they saw the tunnel and they saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and then they saw people they know.
There's variations of that, though, Marla.
Yeah?
Yeah, there are definitely. That's the most common one, and I think people, that's it's like the Vogue thing, really. All right, so go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's right. I was just looking at got a question from John here, and he says, what if there is no ghost and we are haunting them instead?
Oh, that was a great movie, wasn't it? The other?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, God, is that good?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. Maybe it could be.
Very well. Isn't there one that we're all really dead and we just don't know it yet?
No, I haven't heard that one, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's the whole world is really, all the people in the world are really dead, but they don't know it.
So then
the life just goes on and on.
Well, okay. So, but those people, I mean, we all go on and on, but we are getting in touch with some other dimension or whatever. So then what are we looking at when we go out on...
We have no proof of that.
Well, no, I mean, there is no proof. I mean...
Well, that's what I mean. So, I mean, we talk about it so factually, like, oh, yeah, we are contacting, people we want, but that's we have really no proof of it. We know that certain things can happen. For a medium can get information that's, they'll say, oh, only my aunt knew that, and to a reader, and well, yeah, but we got the information. The medium thinks he's getting it from someone who has passed, but in reality, we have no idea where that is really coming from, because the medium certainly can't prove that she's getting it from a dead person. She's just giving you information. She could be drawing it from a greater consciousness. She could be drawing it from, mind reading from the person who was there. It could be a million things that we don't know about. We think we know everything, but we really don't. That's why the paranormal is so exciting, so interesting, because there's so many unknowns, and I've seen that in my own life in the paranormal. Things I believed in the beginning, I no longer believe in. My views changed, and that's the way it should be. We're learning things all the way along the way.
Yeah, exactly. And, and lately people are not just talking about the other side. There's a lot of talk about dimensions, other dimensions.
Yeah. Whatever's new and nouveau and really bold, that's what they talk about. It's like, you look at TV shows, and if you remember when they first came out, they were all chasing ghosts. In fact, ghost hunters, when they first came out, they would either tell you if a place was haunted or not. And then everything was haunted, and soon enough, that wasn't exciting enough. Now there's like demons all over the place. So, we just have to. We want more. It gets to be old, so we want something new, something vogue. And I'm not saying that none of this is not true,
right?
But it's
trendy.
Just that we look. We get very trendy. And then we have we go for the latest equipment, and then I say, oh, well, let's go back to the old ways. And then they go dowsing and Ouija boards, and, it bounces all over the creation. And it's because we're all searching. And quite frankly, we don't know the answers. So we think we might, but we don't.
Yeah, and do you find it frustrating, or you think it's just, this is what it is? We just have to not have anything for sure, but you're okay with it?
I'm okay with it because, I consider myself lucky because I have a very analytical mind as far as, first of all, I want to know everything. I want to understand everything, but I can take things and report things just as they happen, but not necessarily believe in what happened. For instance, in my life, I have seen what I believe are 3 apparitions. And when I mean apparitions, I don't mean any ghostly figures, or I mean people that were as solid as you and I, if we were alive, of course. I don't know. But yeah, but then, I go away, I think about it, and was it really a ghost? What did I really see? I can't tell you, I told you I can report what I saw, and that's absolutely true. That's what I believed, and that's what I believed I saw. But I can't tell you what I saw for 100%.
Yeah, but you're sure of what you're seeing, that you really are seeing something, right? Because some people just, don't trust what they're seeing.
And some people are the opposite way. Quite frankly, the eyewitness is if you talk to most police, and they'll tell you that the eyewitness is the worst form of evidence, because you can have 2 or 3 people seeing the same thing, and they'll come up with 2 or 3 different descriptions.
Chinese whispers. Yeah.
Yeah. We the problem with what we do, when we see something, is it's always filtered through our own minds. So in reality, we don't even see things as they really are. We only see what our minds put together. Puts together. It's a good one. I like that. But anyway, yeah, it's intriguing, and I love doing it. And that's why I love doing it. I want to learn more, and I want to understand things. Yeah, but it's my job just to report what I witness, what I experience, and what we collect. And
let other people, let's take that information and do it what they want, because everybody's going to see different things. Got another question from the chat room. What is your interpretation of the difference between a ghost and a spirit?
To me, none. I just, of course, I'm not very PC, so I use them interchangeably. People, have their own interpretations. The one I hear the most is that a spirit is an intelligent apparition, whereas a ghost is a what's the other word? I can't think of the word.
Residual energy.
Yeah, residual energy. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, well, you fill me in when I lose a word too, please.
I lose all my words. Don't worry. I mean, I've created a whole new language, so Ronisms are quite popular.
Well, they're interesting at best.
Very best.
Sometimes they're very, very good. Is there any part of the paranormal, and we'll still talk about Spirit Quest, but is there any part in the paranormal that you think is completely bogus and, just like ridiculously stupid?
I don't think anything's stupid. I mean, I don't necessarily believe in some beliefs. Reincarnation is one of them, of course. That's probably my biggest holdout is I don't believe in reincarnation. But
really?
That's probably the one thing that I really haven't been able to accept, because I can't see any evidence of reincarnation. But I'm going to get a ton of mail on that one. But anyway, no, I mean, there really isn't. I mean, UFOs or AP, whatever they call them now, AP, I don't know what they are. But I don't have too much thought about them one way or the other. I'm not totally interested in them. Other ones are more intriguing. The one that I thought we might actually prove this year would be Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Because of all those fires in Canada, you would think they would be driven out of their natural habitats and you'd have more sightings in those regions. But I haven't heard any reports about that.
Well, I've heard a lot of theories, and the most, I don't know if it was the most important one, but it made more sense because, people say that you don't find remains of dead big feet, And so it's either two things. It's either they're interdimensional or they're alien.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, we're not going to find out. So
they're all Wookiees then, right? Is that what you're telling me?
If what?
They're all Wookiees?
There possibly could be, yeah.
Yeah, from Star Wars, Wookiees.
Yes, I like that Wookiee. Yeah, he had a nice purr to him, or whatever.
I get my point across.
Going back to reincarnation for a minute, have you ever had a past life regression?
No, because I am a control freak, and I wouldn't want to give up my control. People have tried to hypnotize me, but I haven't.
Well, they're not always hypnosis. It's kind of more like a meditation, like well, some of them do it as a verbal meditation, a guided meditation. Maybe that's a better way to put it. I don't think you lose your power, but I don't know. I remember David Wells is really good about that, and he does a lot of that. I don't know how he does it. I never talked to him about it, but it would be very interesting if even if somebody did a guided meditation for you. But you know what? If you're that much of you have to be in charge, could you let your mind go free, and could you just if somebody said...
My mind goes free a lot, it's all over.
Well, yeah.
It always takes these journeys. I do have one interesting experience, ongoing experience, and that is that I have awakened dreams, and that I can actually see another place or area, which is kind of cool. I've had those many times in my life.
You mean when you're awakened, you're seeing something like
across
the street?
I'm actually, for instance, if I was sitting here in this room, and I would go into this, all of a sudden, like I would be somewhere else. I would be like, it happens a lot. I'm a lot of stone structures, all different types of stone
monoliths and things. Yeah.
Old things. I see that a lot. I've seen, I've had these experiences where I've been in a winter area where, I don't know if you're in California, you wouldn't have that experience. But if you're out in the snow and there's absolutely no sound, and it's such a interesting time. You can almost hear the snow falling. You get a little ting, and you can feel the coldness and crispness. And I've had that experience where I have been in a forest with snow coming down. So there's different ones. A lot of stone structures, though. That tends to be the thing. Different.
Well, maybe one of these days we should try and do a guided meditation on you.
Oh, I'm not sure you want to open up this little mind of mine.
Well, we're dealing with you now. it can't be much different.
Oh, God, you don't want to go there.
Well, that's what Tim Shaw said to me one time. I was doing something, and he was asking me to see if I saw anything in his house, do a remote viewing and stuff. And then I almost started to cry, and it was really weird because, we're on Skype, we're looking at each other, and I said, I don't know why I'm crying, this is weird. And he says, well, that was a side of you I never wanted you to see. And I'm like, huh? It was really strange. So, well, I just thought it would be interesting. You could, see where you were and, whatever.
You could do it. You could do it on a show.
Yeah, we should do it.
Inside the mind of Van Helsing. There you go.
Yeah, I think that'll work. Yeah. That would be really interesting because
I'm sure a lot of people would pay to see that baby.
There's your Patreon page or something. Yeah. No,
anyway.
But, yeah, it's interesting because I did it, honestly. One of my good friends is a psychiatrist, and he's very scientific. He's open about the paranormal to a certain degree, and there was something that he needed to get done or something, and I said, let's do one of those things. And he said, okay. He says, I don't know if it's going to work or not because, like I know what I'm doing and blah, blah, blah. And he was so good. What are you seeing? And he's seeing things. And it was absolutely amazing. And, it wasn't a trance or anything. But he actually went along with it, and he was seeing things and finding answers that he was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of creepy in a way, huh?
There's a lot of creepy stuff. I mean, we have been studying the red light seance for 12 years now, religiously. Every month we get together in a red light seance circle, and we record everything, and we get some extremely interesting results. And you'd be surprised the type of information or spirits that come through at the time. I mean, it's physical mediumship, which is intriguing in itself, but it's really thing. I mean, we had a group at one time. We had a group. Now this is all to mediumship of spirits that were doing the same thing we were doing on the other side, and then he came through. We have people that come through, every so often. We have all types. We had a living person come through once. We could have, and what we do them too is we come up with the information and everything else. We have Jim Stonia, who sits outside the circle on his computer and monitors the camera, and he will look up information for us. And we had, like, for instance, we had this gentleman, his name was Wilhelm Schitz, and we found out where he came from. He came through Ellis Island and what date it was. And Jim was able to look up on Ellis Island, and sure enough, he was there.
Wow.
So we do have that verification on some of these spirits that do come through. So, it's intriguing that you get this information, but once again, we don't know where that information is coming from. We might just be tapping into a greater consciousness, or the Akashic records, or whatever the hell they are.
Well, yeah, and then you were talking about you had a live person come through. Was that like something like astral projection or what? Anybody figured that out?
It was actually a weatherman from Boston.
Huh. He blew in with the wind. Yeah, go ahead.
Blew in with the wind, but it's interesting. We don't know exactly what that was, of course, but there are many reports of doppelgangers or people. I forget the word for it. We're being in many places at the same time. Padre Pio was able to do that. Stalin was seen a couple of places at the same time, and so even I took a spoon bending class with physicist Dr. Yang, and that's another thing I didn't really believe in, but I said, okay, this is interesting. I'll do it, and sure enough, I was able to do all the spoon bending. And you have to, you're not going to say, oh, this is bullshit, and then
you're doing it yourself, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta really go into whatever they do. You just have to do it. But one of the exercises was that you would have your other self bend the spoons, which was pretty cool, and it actually worked. So, yes.
You do so many neat things all over the place.
Well, like I said, I am very much a studier of life. I want to know everything, learn everything as much as I can. Yeah. Well,
there's no limit as to how much you can learn. The good thing is to just keep doing it. That's important.
When we stop learning is when we pass.
Well, some people don't want to learn, and they live just at a certain level,
Yeah,
so.
that's the problem.
I'm going to jump over for a minute back to Spirit Quest, because there's a lot of stuff going on there. You start out, like you said, with Friday with good food, and it's in the the paranormal parlor, which I like that. Saturday is really busy because you have workshops for like crystal healing and a psychic detective workshop and presenters and about tons of different things. Like 6 different things going on in the day, and then there's 3 things going on at night: the panic room, the ghost hunt, and the glass swirling workshop. Tell me about the panic room.
Oh, that's we did Spirit Quest Twilight Zone. I think it was last year. Yeah, last year. Twilight Zone. And one of the episodes in the what the heck is it? I just said it. Of what was the show? Twilight Zone. There you go. Yeah, one of the episodes of Twilight Zone was called The Panic Room, and so that's why we came up with that. It's basically an escape room. And Kerrigan, the Blonde Bombshell, my co-host from the Next Generation, does that for us, and it's interesting. You go in and you have to go. There's a theme, of course. Last year was you had to disarm a nuclear bomb, so you had to get the code and so forth. So, but there's all things in the room, from puzzles to Ouija boards to there's all kinds of crazy decorations too and everything. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. People loved it. They really enjoyed it. So they asked for it again, and so this year we're doing it again, the Panic Room. And this one is to do with Van Helsing, which I can't say anything more than that.
Well, that is interesting. Now, where is all this taking place?
At BZ Memorial Park, which is a unique place in itself. Mm-hmm. It was the summer home of Haverhill industrialist Arthur Vesey. He built this lodge, basically, up on this top of this hill in Groveland, Massachusetts, and he would go fishing and hunting and so forth. And then eventually they sold the property, and it ended up going to the nuns, and the nuns added onto it, and they built a chapel, and they took care of the women from Danvers Insane Asylum and their children. Some of them were pregnant, and they took care of that. And then it became a daycare camp and a couple other things. And then eventually the town got it back, and that's what it is now. It's a nice complex. It's a good size. I have my office there, actually. Mm-hmm. I was teaching. It was funny because, as you mentioned in my biography that I taught paranormal CSI for Northern Essex. Mm-hmm. Well, when they approached me for that class, well, let me go back a little bit further. We were doing an investigation in a library in New Hampshire, and while we were there, we had this Haverhill industrialist that came through. Now, we couldn't figure out why he came through in a library way up in New Hampshire. But anyways, so we had that little blip there. And then when Northern Essex asked me to do the class, they said, "You don't mind doing it off campus, do you?" I says, "We have a great place that might fit in with your class, which is this place is supposed to be haunted." And so I said, "No, that'd be great." So I went to see it. And as I went in there, it was like I felt like I was almost home, or that I was drawn there. It was, in fact, I was like being pushed around. I actually felt that being, to see everything. It was just that kind of thing. So, so I ended up being there. That's how I ended up being associated with it. But I've been there for quite a few years now.
That's very cool. And so the ghost hunt is going to be on the property too?
No, we're actually going 5 minutes off the property to a place that's never been investigated before, other than by us. And it's a historic property. So that's all I can say right now, because it's kind of a mystery. We don't want anyone to know about it. But it is. So there's 3 events in this night. There's the Panic Room, there's the Ghost Hunt, and there's also the glass swirling. So we're going to break up into 3 groups, and we're going to alternate, so everybody gets to do everything. So it's a lot of fun. And, of course, there's pizza, too, that night.
Wow, Chinese food and pizza, boy, howdy.
Including with the weekend pass.
Okay, wait a minute. I understand what glass blowing is, but I'm not sure I'm understanding what glass swirling is.
Oh, that's kind of cool. It's a form of divination.
Tell me.
Yeah, I've been hosting people from the UK for I don't know, about 13 years now, maybe longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a group come over from the UK. Haunted Devon was the name of the group, and we went to the Lizzie Borden house, and we were in there, and they showed me this thing called glass swirling. And it's very simple. It's just like I said, a simple form of divination. You just take an upside down Southern Comfort glass or something like that that's pretty sturdy, and you just put it in the middle of a table, and you put your finger on it, one light finger on it. You have a whole group of people that do it, and you ask questions, and the glass moves around. So that's basically
so it's like a planche. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've actually designed a special table for it that's going to be shown at Spirit Quest this year. It's like a giant Ouija board almost, and that it has all the letters and numbers and other things on it. And of course, it'll be north, south, and east-west orientated properly, and it's all glow in the dark, of course, too. But yeah, so yeah, cool.
And then there's also going to be a spirit board workshop. So
yep.
People get to take you always have something to give away that people create, and I think that's really wonderful. So what's the Spirit Board Workshop?
The Spirit Board Workshop is that's backed by popular demand. We did it once before. I look at the history of the Spirit Board, and we always play a little clip from what's that crazy movie that was out there? I can't remember right now, but yeah, I have the poster from that movie we always display too. And we have a whole series of old, well, Tim would love this. We have all the old Ouija boards on display, and I also have all these planchettes made up for each of the participants that they can take home. And so it's kind of fun. And we also have a giant Ouija board that a bunch of people can take part in at once as well. Yeah, it's a fun event.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something. And is your Ghost Chronicle International partner in crime, Steve Parsons, going to cross the Atlantic this year, or not?
No, Steve and I married off our eldest this year.
Yeah.
He married his up just recently, and I did mine, and I just married mine off recently. So he was all stuck with that, so he wasn't able to come this year.
Stuck with that.
Yeah, of course. I officiated at my son's wedding. Reverend Ron, did the officiating.
I saw that picture.
Yeah, there's a video. You can actually hear me. That whole ceremony was like a minute and a half.
Wow. And not forgetting a word or anything. No, you had to. Did you have to read it? No. What?
What's that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and congratulations. I mean, that's kind of neat, for both of you. But he is going to have breakfast with you guys, I guess, then with the Zoom thing or something?
Oh, Steve is, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That's only for weekend pass participants. Every Sunday morning at Spirit Quest, and this is part of how it's evolved too. That's a special event we hold just for weekend pass holders. And Steve's going to do a presentation from Zoom from across the pond. So we always do something special in the Sunday morning just for our thank you to our weekend pass holders.
Yeah, it's kind of a relaxing kind of, okay, everything's done, take a deep breath and, kind of talk about what went on, right?
No, it's more of it can be a lot of things. We do different things. Last year was a Q&A with Dylan and Steve and myself, and this year Steve's doing a presentation, and the year before, I forget what we did. What did we do? We did something special, though. We did I think it was an in-house presentation there at that time. Steve and I did together. But it might have been, whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean...
They meld then after a while.
It's just, it's just really amazing how you get so many things crammed into one weekend. Well, Friday night, but I mean, there's just so much going on, and people don't have to kind of think they're going to miss one thing because there's always a way to do that. Nobody gets left out on certain things.
When I first did the first Spirit Quest, I had even more presenters, and what I did is I had them against each other, and people complained about that because they wanted to. There was two at the same time, so I had to drop that idea, which I understand. So we do with the 6 presenters on Saturday, workshops and presenters, and then so we have the formula now, and I'm satisfied with it. So,
who are some of the presenters this year?
I would have.
Well,
Roxy
I think Maureen. Go ahead.
Roxy Zwicker of New England Curiosities. She's very big up here, especially in Portsmouth. Have you had her on your show?
No, I really need to.
Yeah, she's very, very good. She's excellent. Excellent, actually. She's a great historian. She's written a ton of books on cemeteries and other things, hauntings and stuff. But she's excellent, absolutely excellent. She does walking tours in Portsmouth. She's excellent. I'll get the information and pass it on to you.
Okay, good. And then
Maureen Wood is doing a psychic detective workshop as well. We also have Kendall from Marinade Traders, which a crystal shop, and she's going to be do crystal healing and and a different little different way than you'll hear about normally. So which is kind of cool. And we've got who else? We have those 3, and then we have somebody on Bigfoot, believe it or not. So I just want to taste it. We do a little bit. We had UFO people the year before. But we also have someone from the Cape coming down to talk about pirates and hauntings on the Cape and that type of stuff down that way. And then we have a band, D'Agostino, doing banding villages and stuff. So villages and cities and so forth. So which is kind of cool.
I know you very well, and you probably already have theme for next year, or at least close to, right? You don't have to say it, but I think
could be.
Yeah, okay. Because it's always you're always one step ahead of the crowd.
Could be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was my answer. We got a
bunch of. We did one Spirit Quest in Search of, which was a fun one. We did Spirit Quest X-Files, which was another great one. The witch one was good because that was we did the Blair Witch Ghost Hunt, which was through the woods and stuff, which was a lot of fun. And we did one Angels and Demons. We had
I remember that one. Yeah,
that was a good one. That was a really good one. That was a lot of fun. So we've covered it. One of the things we did one year, which was I found intriguing, was I had a giant map of Vesey, the actual place, blown up and put in one of the rooms. Steve went and he hid 6 gold coins around the place, and only he knew where they were. And we had participants that dowsed over the map. They did map dowsing, and then they also went out looking for it too. And we had one woman that got 4 of the 6 coins, and they were hidden pretty well too. So I was impressed with that.
Yeah. And have you ever done, psychometry? I mean...
Oh, that's my favorite, Carol.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, I'm a big psychometry. To me, it's not necessarily, people do psychometry and they just like, they like to be, right or wrong, and it's
Right.
not right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's what you're getting. It's,
That's right.
you're the one that's reading the energy. It's not what is right and wrong. People have a hard time grasping that, and to me, it's fascinating to see some of the information. For instance, I had one time I still do. I had a piece of the ovens from Auschwitz, and we had a psychometry, and there was a young girl that actually came up with all kinds. I mean, she had actually this is when I had my paranormal study group in Amherst. She was here for another class, but she was on the wrong day, so she went into my class, and she ended up getting all this fantastic information. She picked up on everything.
Wow.
It's intriguing.
And you know what? I'm going to send you something to see what you feel on it. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Huh? What? It's not bad. But I'm kind of, I've had other people do things like that. And it's an amazing art. Really, it is. To pick up what you feel and stuff. One guy was a medium who did it a lot, and we went over to Scott Michael's house, and Scott Michael had, he's got all that kind of stuff.
Awesome collection.
Right. So he had a piece of the floor from the Ambassador Hotel where Bobby Kennedy lied, dying, and he gave it to him, and he didn't say a name, but he said this is something like an assassination, and this person, a very important person, died there, and then it just looked like a piece of flooring or something. But yeah. So
it's amazing how people don't get that. I do want to mention one thing before we go, and that is I did a recent investigation, and I wanted to tell you about this because it was so cool. I'd call it the Winchester House East.
Huh. Wow.
Because it's this guy who bought a Victorian house, and he just keeps building and doing things. There's a windmill on the property. There's all kinds of very castle walls. There's a train station, a caboose, and you go into the train station, and there's a tube. You go, not a tube, but you go into a door. It's like a turnstile, and it closes around, and all of a sudden you disappear, and you come up into this big room that's huge, and all it is one chair in the middle of it with two. This is up in the second floor with two copper rods that go all the way down into the earth, and above it is a glass dome with a huge chandelier with about 100 or more crystals on it. Not glass crystals, but earth crystals, and it's amazing. He's got a Stonehenge on the property, a burial mound.
Wow.
Inside the house, he's got a well that's inside his poker table. There's a glass top on it that's actually lit with the skull that's in the well. There's a jailhouse inside the basement. He has entire collections of memorabilia, everything from exorcist equipment exorcist stuff to signed record albums, signed guitars, movie stuff, shrunken heads, you name it. So that's why I call it. It has absolutely no rhyme or reason or any purpose. It's just a collection of stuff, just like the
Winchester. Yeah. Oh my God, that sounds good. I want to hear more, but we can't. We gotta go. Where can people find out about getting tickets to Spirit Quest?
You can find everything you want to know about me on Any Ghost Project at Comcast.net. No, that's my email address. It is anyghostproject.com, and you can always join me on Facebook at Ron Kolek. And you can always listen to Ghost Chronicles Radio, one of the many ones that are on there.
Yes. All right. Thanks. Have a good one this year. You will, I know. And
this went by fast. Huh?
It went by too fast. So I'm going to call you back at some point soon, and we'll talk about some more stuff. So anyway, thanks for joining me today, and thank you everybody for listening in. And until next time, everybody, blessed be, and merry meet again. Good night.
This has been another edition of Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks. Be sure to tune in next week at the same time for another great guest and more fun. Any rebroadcast or other use of this program without permission is strictly prohibited. Copyright 2009.
You have been listening to the Para X Radio Network.